Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into Flotek Industries' latest report. Are they floating or sinking? Let's find out, and it might be more complicated than you think. Before we start, if you're tired of confusing corporate jargon and want the real story, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community link in the description below. Come join us. This report is about Flotek's performance in the first 3 months of 2025. It includes their financial results, future predictions, and information about a conference call. Think of it as a checkup on how healthy the company is right now and what they think will happen in the near future. First, let's clarify what this report isn't. It's not intended to be used for things like offering to buy or sell the company's stock. It's simply an update on their current situation, not a sales pitch. Now, onto the meat of the report. Flotek Industries released a press release that details their financial results for the first quarter of 2025. They also announced what they expect to happen for the rest of the year and a conference call to discuss everything. Additionally, the company has made a presentation available on their website. This presentation includes information about their current operations, what they're doing day to day, and financial results. This section lists the exhibits attached to the report. These exhibits give more detailed information, and the first exhibit is the press release about their results for the first quarter of 2025. The second is the presentation that further explains Flotek's current status. Now, let's dig into some of the numbers. Let's start by checking their assets. This gives us a rough picture of the resources that Flotek controls. We can see that cash and cash equivalents stood at almost $21.6 million during the first quarter of 2025 versus roughly $22 18 months. Not amazing, but also not dramatic. Next, their accounts receivable, which is money owed to them by customers, is at $22.7 in March. This is compared to almost $25.6 million at the end of December of the previous year. This tells us they are collecting debts faster or selling less. Total assets are around $167 million compared to roughly $170 million at the end of December. Overall, their assets are shrinking slowly. Now, let's switch to the liability side, seeing how much money they owe. Total liabilities are $43 million compared to over $45 million at the end of the previous year. They decreased their debt. Finally, let's check what's on the income statement to check what's coming in versus what's going out. The total revenue is $37.7 million compared to $37 ended March of the previous months ended March of the previous year. So revenue is flat year over year, not a big growth story. However, their operating loss narrowed from a loss of almost $4 million to a smaller loss of $213 million, smaller loss of $203 million. This means they are becoming more efficient at running the core business. And lastly, their net loss decreased from a loss of $4.4 million to a smaller loss of $2.7 million. So although they are still losing money, the trend is moving in the right direction. All right, now for my take. Flotek seems to be in a state of slow transition. On the one hand, revenue is flat. You want to see growth. However, Flotek is becoming more efficient and losing less money. The company seems to be more focused on costs. This suggests management is trying to stabilize the company. One risk to consider is that they have limited cash with just $21.6 million. So if things don't improve, they may need to raise additional capital, which could dilute existing shareholders. Overall, Flotek is not yet a screaming buy, but it is moving in the right direction. As I write, that's our breakdown of Flotek's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.